Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Nashtaprayesho Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthar Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Sumantra Mataji, I didn't play Prabhupada
No,
Kirtan.
it's okay. I also joined.
Because,
Right? No, I just no problem.
yeah,
It was just a request.
नहीं आज नहीं किया कल से because I have some callers.
Actually वो क्या होता है ना प्रभु कभी कभी 1-2 मिनट आगे जल्दी ज्वाइन करते हैं ना then I forget about only this thing is coming, the voice will not come.
Okay.
Then I don't like to miss the
Got it.
class. That's why.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
No problem. No, I'll do it from tomorrow. Yeah.
No problem, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I'm also watching the 8:30. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Dhanavad.
Okay, 328:27. बाहुंश्च मन्दरगिरे परिवर्तनेन निर्निक्त बाहुवलयान् अधिलोकपालान् सञ्चिन्तये दशशतारं शतारम् असह्य तेजः शङ्खं च तत्करसरोरुह राजहंसम्. The yogi should further meditate upon the Lord's four arms, which are the source of all the powers of the demigods who control the various functions of material nature. Then the yogi should concentrate on the polished ornaments which were burnished by Mount Mandara as it revolved. He should also duly contemplate the Lord's discus, the Sudarshan Chakra, which contains 1,000 spokes and a dazzling luster, as well as the conch, which looks like a swan in his lotus-like palm. Prabhupada is such a kavi, poet. Even in English, he brings about, even in translation, he brings about, what is that written? What is that called? Similar sounding words. What is it called? Can't remember. Anyway.
Rhymes, Prabhu.
Rhyming. Yeah, rhyming words. Yeah, thank you. So further meditate. So we meditated on the lotus feet. What do you remember from the lotus feet? Lotus feet, and all ignorance is dissipated. And then his nails are ruby, brilliant ruby nails. Then we moved up the Lord's form, then his thighs, and then his hips, rounded hips with girdle, then his abdomen, navel, then his chest with emerald like nipples, and then there's white, milk white pearl necklace, and then after that the neck. It said that the neck beautifies Kaustuba gem. So this is the description so far about the Lord's form. Now further coming higher up from the chest. So it's saying the yogi should now meditate on the four arms of the Lord, which are the source of all powers. Then the yogi should concentrate on the polished ornaments, which were burnished by Mount Mandara as it revolved. We should also duly contemplate the Lord's Sudarshana Chakra, which has 1,000 spokes and a dazzling luster, as well as conch, which looks like a swan in his lotus-like palm. Okay. All departments of law and order emanate from the arms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The law and order of the universe is directed by different demigods, and it is here said to emanate from the Lord's arms. Mandara Hill is mentioned here because when the ocean was churned by the demons on one side and demigods on the other, Mandara Hill was taken as the churning rod. The Lord in his tortoise incarnation became the pivot for the churning rod, and thus his ornaments were polished. Burnished means polished. By the turning of the Mandara Hill. In other words, the ornaments on the arms of the Lord are as brilliant and lustrous as if they had been polished very recently. The wheel in the hand of the Lord, called Sudarshana Chakra, has 1000 spokes. The yogi is advised to meditate upon each of the spokes. Just imagine 1000 spokes. Each spoke you have to meditate. You should meditate upon each and every one of the component parts of the transcendental form of the Lord. Again, we discussed this. Each and every one of the component parts. So it's not like each and every little detail that is revealed by the Shastra, we should take it and meditate. Not that we speculate. So then one has to go very deep. For example, if we have to now know how does one spoke of Sudarshana Chakra look, how does it look, then we have to look up Shastra. We have to try and find out description of Sudarshana Chakra. Like this, one can go deep and deep, get absorbed in each and every component part of the transcendental form of the Lord. Komodakim Bhagavato Dayitam Smareta Digdham Arati Bhata Shonita Kardamena Malam Madhubrata Varutha Iropaghushtham Chaityasya Tattvam Amalam Manim Asya Kanthe. The yogi should meditate upon his club, which is named Kaumodaki and is very dear to him. This club smashes the demons who are always inimical soldiers and is smeared with their blood. One should also concentrate on the nice garland on the neck of the Lord, which is always surrounded by bumblebees with their nice buzzing sound, and one should meditate upon the pearl necklace on the Lord's neck, which is considered to represent the pure living entities who are always engaged in his service. So beautiful. The previous verse, it is Chakra Padma, your Gada. And the description of Gada. Then there's a nice garland. Krishna's garland is Vanamali. That is flowers from the forest. So he wears Vanamala. They're surrounded by bumblebees, which are nice buzzing sound. Nice buzzing sound. Should meditate upon the pearl necklace on the Lord's neck, which is considered to represent the pure living entities who are always engaged in his service. The yogi must contemplate the different parts of the transcendental body of the Lord. Here it is stated that the constitutional portion of the living entity should be understood. There are two kinds of living entities mentioned here. One is called the Arati. They are averse to understanding the pastimes of the Supreme Person of Godhead. For them, the Lord appears with his hand clutching the terrible mace, Gada, which is always smeared with blood stains from his killing of demons. Demons are also sons of Personality of Godhead, Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, all the different species of living entities are sons of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aham Bija Pradapita. There are, however, two classes of living entities who act in two different ways. The Supreme Lord keeps one on his neck, those living entities who are pure, as one protects the jewels and pearls on the bosom and neck of one's body. Those living entities in pure Krishna consciousness are symbolized by the pearls on his neck. So we can understand this very nice analogy, right? Pure Krishna consciousness is pure white pearls. On those white pearls, even if there is a little blemish, little spot, it's not pure. So pure Krishna consciousness is so pure without any spots of material consciousness. It is 100% pure white, like the pearl. And if we develop such kind of a pure Krishna consciousness, we can understand that it is as good as being on the transcendental form of the Lord. And Lord accepts such pure Krishna conscious living entities. Those who are demons and are inimical towards the pastimes of the Supreme Person of Godhead are punished by his mace, which is always smeared with the blood of such fallen living entities. The club of the Lord is very dear to him because he uses this instrument to smash the bodies of the demons and mix their blood. As mud is kneaded with water and earth, so the earthly bodies of the enemies of the Lord or the atheists are smashed by the club of the Lord, which becomes muddied with the blood of such demons. So the club is not for us. We should not act in a way such that the club has to come behind us, or the Sudarshana Chakra has to come behind us to chastise. Sudarshana Chakra protects devotees. Club protects devotees by smashing the demons. So we should try to become this pure living entities. We're always engaged in his service. Again, we've discussed this consciousness of always being engaged in service. It's not that we have to give up everything and then become sannyasi or um, but everything and anything we do should be with the pure consciousness of serving Krishna, not with the intention of sense gratification. Then we become pure living entities. And if you are pure living entities, then we are protected by the Lord. If you are demons, then we are smashed by the Lord. Vrityanukampita dhiyeha gृहीतमूर्ते संचिन्तयेद् भगवतो वदनारविन्दं यद्विस्फुरं मकरकुण्डलवल्गितेन विद्योत्थितामलकपोलमुदारनासम्. The yogi should then meditate on the lotus-like countenance of the Lord, who presents his different forms in this world out of compassion for the anxious devotees. Vadana, countenance, face. Aravindam, Vadana Aravindam, lotus-like. Lotus-like face. And his nose is prominent. Prominent. So when we look at his face, his nose is prominent, which means that it draws attention. And his crystal clear cheeks. Crystal clear. Crystal clear cheeks. Amala. Amala Kapolam. Crystal clear cheeks are illuminated by the oscillation of his Makara Kundala, alligator shaped earrings, and which are Vispuran, glittering, glittering alligator shaped earrings. Again, lotus like face, prominent nose, crystal clear cheeks, and oscillation of his glittering alligator shaped earrings. Once I was trying to understand how these alligator shaped earrings look. The best is to see Panduranga. So like this. So here, this is how Panduranga's earrings are. Like they show shape of fish. So in Shastra, this Makara is translated as fish in some places, as alligator in some places. So, for example, see, look at how big Panduranga's earrings are. Just imagine, like. So anyway, so yeah, alligator shaped earrings. And the Lord descends to the material world out of his deep compassion for his devotees. There are two reasons for the Lord's appearance or incarnation in the material world. Whenever there is a discrepancy in the discharge of religious principles and there is prominence of irreligion, the Lord descends for the protection of the devotees and the destruction of the non-devotees. When he appears, his main purpose is to give solace to his devotees. It does not have to come himself to destroy the demons, for he has many agents. Even the external energy, Maya, has sufficient strength to kill them. But when he comes to show compassion to his devotees, he kills the non-devotees as a matter of course. The Lord appears in the particular form loved by a particular type of devotee. There are millions of forms of the Lord, but they are one absolute. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. All the different forms of the Lord are one, but some devotees want to see him in the form of Radha and Krishna, and others prefer him as Sita and Ramachandra. Others would see him as Lakshmi Narayana, and others want to see him as 400 Narayana Vasudeva. The Lord has innumerable forms, and he appears in a particular form as preferred by a particular type of devotee. So look at this. Lord is ready to take up a form based on his devotees' desire. That is his love for his devotees. Yogi is advised to meditate upon the forms that are approved by devotees, not whimsically. Yogi cannot imagine a form for meditation. Those so-called yogis who manufacture a circle or target are engaged in nonsense. Yesterday I was reading Prabhupada Lilamrita. So, in Dr. Mishra's Yoga Kendra, no, actually not there. I think Anand Ashram, which was his weekend, some place here where people would come for a weekend for some kind of a program. So their description of one new person who comes in and then sits in the dhyana. So they're all sitting and doing meditation. And what are they meditating on? A circle. So in front of them, there's a big circle. And they're expected to meditate on that. And Prabhupada is sitting in the back of the hall and chanting japa. So this new person comes and he happens to sit beside Prabhupada. And then he's seeing everybody. Everybody is like meditating on what? On that circle. And this is the first time he had come and he was finding so difficult. And then he goes and meets Prabhupada and so on. So nonsense. So Prabhupada knows that this meditating on a circle was nonsense, but he tolerated everything just to, follow the instructions of his spiritual master, which is to preach in the English-speaking countries. So all he was, as soon as he went in Butler, Pennsylvania, he went into this house where people are eating non-vegetarian. He had to cook in the same kitchen, etc. And then he went to this Dr. Mishra, who was talking all impersonalism, and then he had to tolerate that also. Then he went to the Bowery, and he was his, so many challenges. He went through so much of nonsense. But all just for the pleasure of his Guru Maharaj. So this is complete surrender. Actually, a yogi must meditate upon the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that has been experienced by the Lord's pure devotees. Now, how do we know what has been experienced? It has been documented in books by our acharyas. So all this description, Bhagavatam, or even by our Sampradaya acharyas, there are so much detailed description about Lord, about Radha Krishna, primarily because this is Krishna consciousness. And some other Sampradaya would have Sita Rama description possibly. So what has been experienced, we should not speculate. So we have to actually only meditate on these features as experienced by the Lord's pure devotees. Yogi means devotee. So Prabhupada is finally saying yogi means devotee. Yogis who are not actually pure devotees should follow in the footsteps of devotees. It is especially mentioned here that the yogi should meditate upon the form which is thus approved. He cannot manufacture a form of the Lord. So all these things, again, so beautiful lotus-like face, prominent nose, crystal clear cheeks, and glittering alligator-shaped earrings. Yet Sriniketam Alibhi Pari Sevyamanam Bhutya Swaya Kutila Kuntala Vrindajustam Meenadvayashrayam Adikshipad Abjanetram Dhyayen Manomayam atandrita ullasadbhru. The yogi then meditates upon the beautiful face of the Lord, which is adorned with curly hair and decorated by lotus-like eyes and dancing eyebrows. Dancing eyebrows. A lotus surrounded by swarming bees and a pair of swimming fish would be put to shame by its elegance. Hmm. Hmm. By the elegance of his beautiful face. Beautiful face of the Lord, which is adorned with curly hair and decorated by lotus-like eyes and dancing eyebrows. Lotus-like eyes I've already described before. Petals of a lotus. Lotus petals. Right? So like this. Krishna's eyes are like this. Mm, like this. Mm. See, this is one end, this is the other end. That is, this is near the nose, and this is towards the ear. Like this big, broad, beautiful eyes. Mm. And dancing eyebrows. This dancing eyebrows, I don't know whether Prabhupada is. Yeah, this is also described in various shastras. Krishna speaks through his eyebrows. One important statement here is Dhyayen Manomayam. Manomayam is not imagination. Impersonalists think that the yogi can imagine any form he likes, but as stated here, the yogi must meditate upon the form of the Lord which is experienced by devotees. Devotees never imagine a form of the Lord. They are not satisfied by something imaginary. The Lord has different eternal forms. Each devotee likes a particular form and thus engages himself in the service of the Lord by worshipping that form. The Lord's form is depicted in different ways according to scriptures. As already discussed, there are 8 kinds of representation of the original form of the Lord. These representations can be produced by the use of clay, stone, wood, paint, sand, etc., depending upon the resources of the devotee. Manomayam is a carving of the form of the Lord within the mind. This is included as one of the 8 different carvings on the form of the Lord. It is not imagination. Meditation, the actual form of the Lord, may be manifested in different manners, but one should not conclude that one has to imagine a form. Different manners means Ashtanga yogis do differently, Bhakti yogis do differently, etc. But all of it should be authentic. There are 2 comparisons in this verse. First, the Lord's face is compared to a lotus, and this black hair is compared to humming bees swarming around the lotus, and his 2 eyes are compared to 2 fish swimming about. So that is this comparison. Prabhupada explains what that comparison is. Lotus face is compared to a lotus, black hair to humming bees, and 2 eyes compared to 2 fish swimming about. A lotus flower on the water is very beautiful when surrounded by humming bees and fish. The Lord's face is self-sufficient and complete. Its beauty defies the natural beauty of a lotus. Of course, nothing can be used to compare or describe the beauty of the Lord, but within our experience, the most beautiful object is taken and then compared, which is the lotus. Mm. Yeah, but this is just to so by this we can understand how um, what is the word? Insufficient or inappropriate are material things to be used to describe the Lord, because the most beautiful thing doesn't even come near the real beauty of the Lord. And then it is just used as a comparison so that we can get some sense of what the beauty of the Lord can be, might be. And now imagine Krishna's beauty is like this, and Krishna is attracted by Radharani's beauty. So what must be the beauty of Radharani? So it's just inconceivable. Uh, mm, yeah, and these things should actually trigger our hearts. We should feel, oh yes, I want to go and see the beauty of Radha and Krishna. Because it's just not captured. It cannot be captured in words. And how much ever we can. I mean, yeah, it can't be described in words. The only way is for us to become completely pure, and then the Lord reveals these things. So purity is the force. We want to become pure because otherwise we can't really experience Radha Krishna. We can only keep speculating, or we can enjoy, or enjoy. Yeah, enjoy. This word enjoy is a very bad word. Basically, it refers to sense gratification. So we cannot enjoy anything. Krishna can enjoy, and if he enjoys, we experience happiness. So he has to enjoy, we have to experience happiness. Anyway, so the point is that we become pure, and if we become pure, we can actually experience all this that we are reading today in the Shastra, which are just words for us today, or sentences or some description, but it can be actually experienced. It is actually experienced by pure devotees. In the stage of perfection, Krishna Prema, everything is revealed to us. We'll be able to see the beautiful form of Radha, Krishna, Vrindavan. We'll be able to smell the beautiful fragrance coming from Krishna's lower transcendental form, and the sound coming from his transcendental flute, the touch of his transcendental hands. Everything we can experience just by achieving that perfection. And for that perfection, the prerequisite is, the process is to become pure. So if for anybody at any point of time we are stuck with material things, we can just remember, unless we become pure, we cannot achieve this. We will not be able to see Krishna, in this same body. So there should be some motivation for us to do Krishna consciousness, and that motivation is descriptions like this: the beauty of Krishna, beauty of Radharani, and their beautiful qualities. Why are we trying to serve any other master? There's nobody more eligible than Radha and Krishna to become our masters. So these things should actually motivate us, inspire us, help us, fight Maya, our own inabilities, our own anarthas, everything, because we want to get here. We want to see this beautiful face of the Lord. So always, this is my only inspiration. This is my only motivation. Is whatever we read in the Shastra, I want to experience it directly. I'm not satisfied with this description because I'm not intelligent enough or pure enough to really create a picture of this description in front of my eyes. But I want to just see. It's easy. It's more effective. Okay, I think I'll stop here. Yeah, I'll stop here because I don't have time. So we'll continue tomorrow. We have a minute maybe if anybody has anything to comment. Yeah, so you can once again read these verses, and try to build that image, picture of what we are hearing. And it is very, very purifying. Actually, these verses are very purifying. Simply, if we just continue to read this again and again, our mind becomes pure, and we want to, uh, we want to think about the beautiful form of the Lord, the beautiful eyes of the Lord, beautiful face of the Lord, and so on and so forth, as described here. Okay, we'll end. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धु भ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। हरे कृष्ण, दंडवत।